Let's go front row here. Hi. You look shocked. Okay. She's like, and then I pick her and she's like, oh, I was stretching. That was very funny. Hi.
Well, I followed you guys' example and did the Tough Mudder, and it was hard.
It's tough.
Yeah. It's named.
Mudder. Aptly named.
It was very muddy. So I was wondering what you guys' favorite obstacle was to do, and then what was the hardest one to do?
For those who don't know, Jared and myself and a few of the other guys did a obstacle.
Did he release the video yet?
We'll work on that. You know, here's the problem. There was so much footage that we filmed. I think Rob edited it down to like a half an hour. And 30 minutes is a long time to watch a few guys running and struggling. This is the wrong audience to be. All right, so real quick, the favorite obstacle?
My favorite probably was the toughest. The Everest wall, where you run up it and you have to kind of catch, because that was the most kind of collaborative.
I would say my favorite was the, what was the one? It was the additional one with the rings.
Oh yeah.
There was again that if you were really crazy and stupid, you could continue to do this one. It wasn't part of the whole thing, but it was, essentially you had rings that were individual, and then it was a pegboard that went way up and then way down, and you had to, basically like Ninja Warrior, yeah. That one was really fun because just before me was this huge, ripped, muscle-bound, like, gym rat, and he got like 2 pegs and fell. So I was like, well, there's just no way. I mean, that guy is massive. And then I just went, I felt really good about it. I think the hardest one for me, well, it wasn't necessarily, it shouldn't have been the hardest one for me, because we actually did it very quickly, was the Berlin Walls, which is it's a set of 2, 12-foot high, flat wooden walls that you had to just run, jump, grab the top, pull yourself over, and flip over. And he and I did it fine. It was a little too tall for a couple of the other guys.
Richard and Rob.
So we straddled the top of the wall and gave him the helping hand and pulled him up. But then one of our guys in the group, it wasn't too tall for him, it's just that he was a little on the heavy side at this point. My buddy Jason. And I think he was ringing in right around 260 pounds and just couldn't get up, and of course we couldn't pull that up. So I hopped back down on the other side and I did one of these. And so he stepped in my hands and then stepped on my shoulder and then put his other foot on my shoulder. So now I have 260 pounds just standing on my shoulder, and he's
like all-weather shoes that are kind of cleated, you know?
Yeah, they've got a very thin shirt on.
Like, yeah.
And so he's standing there, and he, you know, his hands are on the thing, and he goes, sorry, Ackles, I gotta jump. So I now have 260 pounds that does this. So I think my spine cracked. But then, so whatever, he got over, and I turned around, I jumped up, and I pulled myself over, and then I look, and it's like, oh, there's another one. So
that one, your turn to carry me.
Yeah, like, can somebody else do this? Yeah, and then not to mention, Osric blew his knee out like the last.
Like, so we're carrying him.
So Jared and I took turns literally carrying him for like the last 3 miles. It was nice. Yeah. Richard just wanted to drag him. So anyway, that was fun. Where did you do it? In Michigan? Nice.
What time of the year?
A month ago?
Cold?
No, it's not bad. Well, good. I think we're going to try to do it again next year with maybe a bigger group, and I'm not quite sure which one we're going to do, but it'll...
Kim Rhodes?
What?
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Add a little bit of estrogen to the pile?
She'd probably be like this. Let's go!
Bring it!
Let me go last. I can just jump up and grab an arm. Like I can fly. Need a boost? You can jump? All right. I should. Oh yeah, I can do it. What if I slip?
Tough Mudder 2015, first time ever, a bunch of rookies. I think we did a pretty good job. I'm proud of us. What do you think, Jared?
I think there's no group I'd rather have done a Tough Mudder with and gotten a lip shooter with, so I'm pretty proud too.
Rich?
I think 6 men gathered today in Austin, Texas, soaked themselves in mud, pushed themselves to the limit. I'm damn proud to be part of this group.
We're gonna do it.
Yep.
I got a little mud in my beard, and I'm happy about that. I'm still alive, so it was a good day.
You know what? I had a stroke a year and a half ago, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do this. And these guys motivated me, and they inspire me, and I'm so glad that I did. I've never felt more alive.
Yeah, I'm in decent shape, but I was still really nervous about coming here and doing this. But, you know, doing it as a group, everyone really helped push each other, and I really couldn't have done it without the support of these 5 guys. So I'm really proud of everyone.
I love you, Ezra.
Love you guys too.